Okay, we're logged into one of the Korn machines, and of course we've already downloaded the prerequisite files that are used throughout all of these videos. And here we're going to be looking at basic directory navigation. So how do I see my files and directories, and how do I get between different directories? So the first command is the ls command, which lists the files or directories. And the important thing to note here is that we have this jolts file downloaded and extracted. And the first thing we want to do is move into or change directory into jolts. And that's done with the cd command. So cd and then a space to denote that we're about to provide a parameter to the command jolts. And the first thing you'll notice is that the command prompt has changed. And if we run the ls command again, you should see that there's a Linux intro, and we're going to go to that Linux intro directory, use the cd command again, ls, and we see that there's assignment 1, assignment 2, etc. here. We're going to go ahead and go into assignment 1, and we're going to go ahead and do ls again. And here we see data, goodbye.txt, hello.txt. One of the things that we need to be able to distinguish are the things we are looking at directories or files. Now, typically, files will have some sort of extension like txt to denote that it's a text file. Oftentimes directories won't have an extension, although that's not rigorously enforced. So there's an option with the ls command, the -l, which does a listing format. And this can help tell us additional information about what we're seeing here. In the listing format, instead of showing things multiple lines, multiple columns, it's strictly one item per row. And so we see data, goodbye.txt, hello.txt. And the first thing to note is that in this first column, data has a letter D next to it. And that's an indication that data is a directory. And the other goodbye.txt and hello.txt items do not. That's a pretty good indication that they are a file, not a directory. And then over here, RWX are references to read, write, and execute. So are you allowed to read the file, write the file, execute, etc.? There is additional information here. This tells you about ownership of the files or directories. This column will tell you information about size. Over here is the timestamp. So when was this file last modified? So if you are ever unsure about whether you have a file or directory, ls-l will help make that distinction. Now we know that there is a data directory, and we're going to go ahead and go into that data directory. We now know about the use of the -l option with the ls command. And we see that there are 3 files, data1 through data1.txt through data3.txt here. Now, so far we've been moving into directories by specifying their name to the cd command, but at this point there's no directories left. What if we want to get back to where we were previously? And the way we do that is with a special shorthand notation ... And ... is just a reference to the parent directory. So when I do cd ... I'm now in the assignment 1 directory. I've moved back from the data directory. So you'll notice throughout this process that anytime I move back and forth between directories, the Linux prompt is constantly changing. And so this part of the prompt here is always telling me what position I am in terms of directories. So initially up here, I was in the data subdirectory of assignment 1. I went ... to move back to the parent directory. The parent directory is assignment 1, and so that's why the prompt changed back to assignment 1 here. We now know how to move into a directory given its name, and we know how to move back out of the directory using cd ... And if we want to orient ourselves and know which directory we are in, we can always look at the Linux prompt. And then there's also a command, pwd print working directory, which will print out as output the full path of where we are in the file system. So you'll notice here that I'm in Jolt's Linux Intro Assignment 1, and then ahead of that we see things like PLEGRESL because that's my account, and up here you'll see a reference to AFS. Remember, that's the network file system that's used to give you a consistent view of your files across all of the Korn machines. And then this is just how the system administrators organize the fact that there's actually tens of thousands of these accounts for everyone on campus. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cd ... up another higher level here. Now we're at the Jolt's Linux Intro directory, and we can look at what's there. We were previously in assignment 1, and now we're going to move to assignment 2. And we can look at what's there with the ls command, move into the data directory. We see here that there's an empty directory, so nothing's shown. We're going to move up. So you always want to be comfortable with how you get around and get access to your files. So we've moved all the way, at this point, all the way back up to your home directory, which is the top level of the files that belong to your user account and is the place where you're situated when you first log into the machine.